Hello again. Most of us older people are aware that there are inherent differences between boys and girls, men and women. It is, of course, these days fashionable to pretend that males and females are interchangeable and that you can swap your gender around if you feel like it. It's not true. Most males are keener on physical activity and things, whereas the average female is more interested in people and feelings. Of course, there are men who prefer to cuddle babies rather than fix a motorbike. I am one of them, as I freely admit. But as a general rule, women are better at looking after babies than men are. To give one slight example, there is no reason why girls should not climb trees and take up boxing or plumbing if they wish, any more than a boy should be stopped from training to be a nursery nurse if he wishes. But generally speaking, boys and girls stick to gender-specific roles. The education system in Britain, though, is determined to reverse this normal order of things and make sure that schoolboys, instead of fighting and playing football, learn how to do cross-stitch and get in touch with their feelings and express their emotions openly. In many schools, a boy fighting is viewed as being worse than a paedophile or drug abuser, and the most robust efforts are made to encourage such children to behave more like girls, just sitting quietly, talking about how they feel rather than charging around and being aggressive. Balls are banned in the playground at quite a few primary schools because they are said to be unfair to girls. This is because the boys are the ones that like to play the football with balls, and they take up a large part of the playground with their games, and the girls sit around the edge talking to their friends. Of course, it never seems to occur to any of these modern teachers that this might be the natural way of males and females, that females tend to enjoy talking to their friends more, while males often prefer to be doing things with their own friends. It is alleged that many mental health problems in men are caused because they repress their feelings and bottle up their problems, and that if only they had been taught to behave more like women and show their vulnerability and shed tears, then they would be more healthy psychologically. Speaking from a purely personal perspective, I find public displays of emotion and tears by men to be distinctly unmanly. I can only think offhand of 4 reasons for a man to shed tears. These are the death of a parent, the death of one's wife, and the birth of, or God forbid, death of, one's own child. The sight of a man blubbing because his football team has lost or because he's broken a fingernail or something is to me an appalling one. In Hungary, the government is now organising a fight back against what is being described as pink education. Some viewers might remember that in 2015, when a vast and seemingly endless column of immigrants was marching north through the Balkans towards Central Europe, one country alone had the balls to prevent these people from invading their country. Viktor Orban sent in the army to build a fence to stop these people from marching into Hungary. A few years later, he made his position plain, saying, "We must state that we do not want to be diverse and do not want to be mixed. We do not want our own colour, traditions and national culture to be mixed with those of others. We do not want this. We do not want this at all. We do not want to be a diverse country." Quite right too. But if only we had a politician who dared to speak out like this. As part of what he calls a conservative revolution, Viktor Orban's Hungary is now giving £28,000 each to married couples to help them with buying a house. A condition of this grant is that they must promise to have at least 3 children, thus ensuring that Hungarian ethnicity and nationality is strengthened. Anybody think this is a good idea for this country? If we are not careful, Britain will not have any proper men at all in a few years' time. They will all be crybabies who spend their time empathising with people but are scared of their own shadows. I can't think that many women would be all that keen on such a state of affairs. I've got an idea that most women actually want to marry a man, not a neutered she-male. It is time for us to think seriously about what is going on in our schools and to ask ourselves what kind of men we are producing there.